Hello and welcome to another baking extraordinaire with me. It's Nicho's dad. Yeah, it's me. I've just done my hair differently today. Bit different. Come back to my punk days. So you've joined me in the kitchen extravaganza, whereas I'll be making, or I'll be mostly attempting to make, an Oreo cake for them at work, because I try to be kind and decent. So I do things like this just to please other people, never for myself. I'm the most unselfish person you'd ever meet, apart from what my ex-wife would probably tell you, but that's another story. Right, Scott. Shout out to Cameron. Right, mate. Right, Scott. Right, so further ado. Right, Mum and Dad. Let's get on with this. So our first steps will be to get the ingredients, to which I've got a load of stuff out there. And then we're going to have to do the cake first. So part one will be the cake, part two will be the buttercream part of it, and part three will be glaze. And that's how it goes. So yeah. Join me in the next segment for the cake. Welcome back. Seamless editing. Right, let's get show on road. First things first, get a dish. It helps. Secondly, get something to weight stuff with. Scales. Not fishy. It's weighing scales, it's not actual. Right, okay. Voila. Thirdly, let's get some flour. Lo and behold, I had some here earlier. Good, eh? Right, so what we're going to do first, we're going to open flour. We're going to open flour. Thought this was going to be a quick segment there. Christ. Why the hell? Packaging. Why don't they make it so you can open bloody stuff easier? Excuse me. Right. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, let's turn this on. Make sure that it's in right flipping measurement. Bang that on. Press it back to 0 and Bob's your auntie. So first things first, we want the flour. Now, I want 125 grams of flour. Now, I'm not going to sift it. I'm just going to do it as so. Why, there's not one, why one? Right, 125. Here we go. There I trace and measuring again. 125 of flour. Right, perfect. Flour, done. Bosh. That's, yeah, right, okay. So our next step will be the sugar. And for the sugar, you want granulated. Right, so granulated, we want 300 grams of sugar. Flipping hell, what a crazy flipping. Right, so 300 of sugar, and if you add it on to 125, that means 425. Right, Scott. So mix your sugar in. Oh, spot on. Right. And what we're doing is we're putting all that dry stuff in first. So dry mix you put in first. Now I'm going to put, I want Oreos and I want cocoa. We're going to put our cocoa in next. Now what I choose is this fine dark cocoa powder. Because it's fine, it's dark, and it's cocoa powder. Make it easy, don't I? Right. So, cocoa powder, we want 40 grams. 40 grams. So if I add that onto there, that'll be 465. So, oh, you mother flying. And then it goes off like some kind of, right, so I would say, well, right, just guess flipping sod. Right, so we've put about 40, let's have it nice and chocolate here. So, 40 grams, that'll do. No, it's put a bit more in because I like it nice and cocoa-y. So that'll do for me cocoa since flipping thing went off. Right, sorted. So, then we want our Oreos. Now, you're supposed to sort of have the Oreos on their own, but I tend to not give a damn. So what I'm going to do is plough it all into a bag, crush the hell out of them, and then put them in there. So, first things first, we want some form of a bag to do it in. So we'll go in here, and we'll get one of our zips, if I can find the bloody thing. Whatever. Right, is that a big one? That'll do. We'll get one of these. We shall open up one of our Oreos. Oreo. Right, which I've already done. Now, what we want in about 80, so in these, how many have you got in these? 80, 154, 154. I'll tell you what, we will, I'll tell you what, no, 154, so that'll be 50, 60, 70, 80. I shall just do half. So. And I do creaming as well, because to be honest, what's the point of taking it out? So, bang them in there. And then, kick the out of them. Preferably, take the air out at bag first. They're so good at these bags. Just get this. God Christ, try to miss your fingers because it bloody hurts. You want that pretty fine, so you might as well roll it as well, just to make it as thin as possible. Because at the end of it, you're putting it in your mixer. Right, so you've got your fine powder-ish. Get that ploughed in. Like I say, what you're trying to do is you're getting about 80 grams of it. So, get it in there. You don't be sparing with it. Only thing with these, when you're doing it with cream, you get a bit that stick. But it's all in preparation. Because at the end of the day, it's going to taste absolutely superb. Yep. Right. Okay. We have our mixture in there. Done. Voila. Merci. So, right. We now want just a little bit of salt. So what I'll put in is salt. Right? Now, I know a lot of you are going to be saying, oh, here he goes with his aromat. It's not fat, it's aromat. Don't be silly, as if I'm going to put that in a cake. So I'm just using salt. So again, we're going to take that in there. Salt, if I'm doing that, then it's then we want about 2, but I'm not going to put 2 in. I'm going to put just a smidgen. Perfect. Right. So I've got my salt in there. I've got we want that baking powder. Now I'm always a bit sceptical of putting these in. You want bicarbonate of soda, and I think I was at 4 grams. Yep. So 4. So we want that up to 6 because we've got 2 in there of salt. Right. Perfect. And on top of the baking soda, you want the bicarbonate soda, you want the baking powder. Tidy. Put that in there, I'll do that later. Right, so we got 6, we want another 4, so that'll equal 10. And then a great big clump falls out. Flipping out. Right. That'll do. It's fun, isn't it? Right. So we've got what did I want? I want the buttermilk in there, I got the sugar, I got the water. Everything else is just going into crumbs, and we've got the cocoa, we've got baking soda, got baking powder, got salt, the oil and everything I've got in there. So that's pretty much all of my powders. That's all of my dry. So, pretty happy with that. That's the mix for that. Then we go to our wet ingredients. And what I mean by wet, it's liquid. So it's wet. Right, so, we want another dish. And lo and behold, seeking ye shall find, saith the Lord. Here, by just chance, is another dish. Put that back to 0. Right, so in here we've got my sugar, I've done my Oreos, so I've got my baking powder, salt, I've got my 55 grams. I want some oil. So, 55 grams. I shall use my oil. Now we want, if I'm putting that in, then it will be about 55. So I'll put about 55 in there. This makes it nice and moist. Yep. So I've got my oil. Okay. Then buttermilk. But over here, we don't have like a lot of buttermilk. So what you tend to do is I'll get a separate dish from over here. Okay. Measuring juggler. Right, so in there I'm going to put, if I'm putting 100 and 180. Now what I tend to try to get around with is I'll use my soya milk. It'll do. Right. So in there, if I'm doing the soya milk at that, then it was 180 gram then. So I want 180 grams. So we'll take that off there. We'll put that back to 0. Right, and we'll put 180. Perfect. Right, and now I get around this is because I haven't got buttermilk. What I'll do is I'll put a drop of lemon juice in, and that'll make it sort of curdle, and that's what I'm after. Right, so just a drop. Perfect. Tracy's laughing her heads off in it. A drop, it was more like a flipping waterfall that. Right, so I'm going to bang that into my oil. Done. Okay, and that's starting to sort of mix. Right, vanilla. I'll put that back on my scales. put that back to 0. I want my 2 eggs, I want vanilla 10 millilitres. So we'll put it back to millilitres, 0, 10. Perfect. That's my 10. That's my vanilla. I've got my oil. I've got that in there, so I want my hot water next and I want my eggs. Now my eggs, I want 2 big eggs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my eggs from here. And then do-frate that into there. Then I'm going to do-frate that into there. 2 large eggs, do I put? No, that'll be fine. Right, okay, get myself a fork and whisk them up. I'm chargeable by hour if you want to pay for me to come to your house and cook for a, you know, when you're having a party out. Right, so my 2 eggs, bang that in there. Done. Okay. And in there, hot water wise, I want hot water 190 grams. So what I'll do is 190 grams. Okay. What I'll do is. Hot water, yeah. Da, 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 da. Right. 90 grams. So roughly 5 times water in. So that's my hot water. I mean, you've got to be pretty quick with the mixing on this. I've got my vanilla, I've got oil, buttermilk. So I've pretty much done, I think, with my mixtures. Right, so again, I'm going to add my hot water to this and get all of the liquid mixed. Okay, so I've got my mixture done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mixer ready. Put that in there. Okay. Get my whiskers in. I'm not a cat, but you know, whiskers. Got 9 legs, mate. Alright, Scott. My mate Scott. I'll put them there for later. Okay. So we are now going to add the mixes together. So powder into the liquid. Right. Being careful not to make a mess. Now your batter's going to be pretty pretty much thin. It's not going to be a thick mixture. So when you're putting this together, don't be worried. You think, Christ, that's way too thin, is that? Well, no. To do the proper cake like this, you want it to be running. And it pretty much is liquid going into these cake tins. What? When it comes out, it's absolutely fantastic. So that's about it. Your mixture's pretty much done, bubbling away. So we'll just give them a bit of a rinse. Chuck them all over the flipping well. But there you are. And there's your mix. And as you can see, it is very liquidy, very thin. Well, that's what you want. So, get your cakes tins ready, get your cooker ready, and then put them in and cook them. So I'm going to be doing that very quickly. I shall be placing them in the dishes, getting the cooker warm. So join me in part 2, the third segment, when they come out at cooker. And then that's where the magic happens, when we start to do our buttercream. So yeah, see you soon. Welcome to part 2 and the third segment of this cookie extravaganza, Oreo kind of cakes. Cakes are in oven, so what we're going to do now is we're going to concentrate on the buttercream. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our dishes, and we're going to get our measuring scales, and we're going to get our pan, because we've got to put some hot water in that. So what we're going to do, we're going to get some hot water in that now from my wonderful hot water dispenser. Don't want too much water, but all we're doing is we're warming up the egg whites as we're making the mix. So, get that in there, just a little bit of water, and get that over the mix done. Right, put paper there so it'll burn set fire to the kitchen. Right, so what we're doing, we have got 6 egg whites to get started. So we shall get our thought it was Michael Jackson then, didn't you? There you don't. Right, so we want 6 egg whites. So we are going to push. Right, get our yolk and separate them from the yolk, get our egg white in there, done. 1, we'll use that later. Alright, get that in there because I put it in the wrong flipping thing. It's not going to help, is it, Rich? Does it? Right, get my egg whites in there, like 2. Okay, being careful not to break the yolks, because if I do, then there's no point in me doing any of this. Right, get that in there. Okay, great. That was a bad one. I'm not going to be able to do that one. Get that in there. That was a bad crack. Sort of useless. Flipping eggs. Whoa. Okay. Right. 6. Yep. That we'll do one more because of that one that didn't go quite right. So we'll pile that in there. Put that in there. Done. Okay. That's our egg whites. Not yolking. Right. Egg whites in there. We've got that hot water going. Pinch my fingers. So it's be clean. So what we're doing is we've got our egg whites. We want to mix the egg whites with the sugar. So sugar wise, which is over here, we want 400 grams. So 400 grams of sugar. Quite a lot. Yeah, 400. I put a little bit more water in that. Perfect. Get that in there. Right. Get my whisks back onto doofree. Like so. And what we want to do is we want to get that on there, heating it up, and we want to add our egg whites to it. So that's not going to work, is it? So we'll bang that over here on one of my other doofrees, being careful not to melt flipping everything. And we're going to pour that into there. Right, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give that a bit of a mix. In sort of no terms, what you're doing is similar to a meringue. So your egg whites and your sugar obviously make it sweet. Give that a bit of a mix over the warm water. Get that over here. As you can see, nicely mixed up. So that's nicely started up. So what we're doing next is our butter. Now butter wise, I mean, it says unsalted. I don't use unsalted anything because I like my butter and I like it got salt in it. So that's my own preference. Right, so I just get some stock here because it's easy to mix. It says until you start mixing, it won't mix. And what we're wanting butter wise, we're going to put 450 grams. So yeah, I shall put it onto a plate. 450 gram on that. Put that back to 0. 450 gram. Here we go, measuring again, Tracy. Okay. So we'll put our butter on. Butter, 450. For that then. Okay. Perfect. So put the lid on that. Give my hands a bit of a wash. And then just check on the cakes. Oh god, they've gone bigger than I thought they would. Right, so about 11 minutes of them. So they're supposed to be about there and they've gone like that, so. Right, so get that back onto there. What we're wanting to do is to mix that, and we want some more vanilla actually. So vanilla wise, we got the butter, we got whisk. Vanilla about 3 grams, so I shall. That'll do for vanilla. Okay, that's all mixed. That's in there, and then we're going to want Oreos again. And Oreos. Tell you what, we're just going to mix this first. Get this in here first, bit by bit. Right. Get a little bit of heat, and then mix. The heat's obviously going to make it easier to mix together. Put that back on actually. Put that back on so you get a bit of heat back in. Not too much. Don't want it curdling, but it will just help me with the mixed part, getting this butter in. Burn it, like I say, we don't want it curdling. Put the butter in, it's all of our butter in. Okay. And then what we're wanting to do is to add some Oreo into that mix. So again, get my hands washed. Checking the cooker, we've got 7 minutes left and they have absolutely taken over. Oh Christ. Right. Okay, so again, Oreos, get a load bound in a bag, like so. One. So open up then, chop out another full thing of Oreos. Okay, done. You get that sort of sealed, but like I said, from the first time, don't get any air in there. Give that a good boost. Imagine if someone that you really like, maybe a boss or someone, give that a big bash. Just crunch up as much as you can the Oreos that are inside. You're mixing it into there, so it doesn't really matter. And to be honest, I like a bit of a texture, so I won't worry about crushing it too much. Maybe a bit bigger than that though, when you've got a full fucking Oreo there. How the hell did I miss that? Right, so we've got our Oreo. I'm going to pop that in there. Get that over. Get that cloud into my mix. Like so. Right. And then again, carbonate. Get that mixed. So like I say, your buttercream is pretty much egg whites in the form of a meringue. You've got your vanilla, just to give it that little bit of a cakey kind of taste. I like my terminology, it's great, isn't it? Right. You got your butter obviously, because it's buttercream. Right. And then you've got your water in there and your Oreo. Give that as much of a whisk as you can. So you can see, there's your mixture. Okay, I shall carry on with that, get that all sorted, and then in the next segment we'll be getting cakes out, and I'll be letting them cool down, and then I'll be working out with the cream filling, and then the garnish, the topping. So yeah, join us in next segment in part 3, when I start to put the cakes together and start to finish them. See you soon.